Welcome back, friends. It's Megan from A Seasonal Abode, and today I'm making a video that's a little bit different. I asked on my community posts on YouTube if anyone would be interested in seeing or hearing about my seed haul. So I grow cut flowers in the summer in Zone 6 here, and I purchased a bunch of seeds, and I thought this would be a fun video to share everything that I have purchased and hope to plant this summer. So I'm going to be starting with my Johnny's order. Now, in Canada here, we have had in December, we had a postal strike. And because of that, they have not arrived yet because the postal strike is over now, but my seeds haven't arrived. So beginning with my Johnny's order, I purchased Scabiosa Fata Morgana. Now, this is a perennial, and I hope to add it into, I'm going to be making this summer, I'm going to be making an area which is just going to be reserved for perennial flowers to use as cut flowers. This is a perennial and it's beautiful. It's kind of got like a creamy color, or a vintagey kind of color, which I think will look beautiful in bouquets. The next seeds that I purchased were the Sweet William Dianthus. So this is I'm going to be growing this as a cool hardy annual, so it can survive cooler temperatures. So I'm going to be starting it early and transplanting it out into my garden 6 weeks before the last frost. I'm going to count back 6 weeks from my last frost date in the spring, which for me is May 5, and I will be planting these out the end of March, beginning of April into the garden. The next seeds that I purchased are also Sweet William. They are the purple white bicolor from Johnny's. So what I did this year, just to kind of help my brain, there's always so many seeds available out there, and it's hard to know how many to plant, etc. So what I did this year was I used seed time, and that helped me a great deal. I was able to put in my plants, and then it just plopped in how many would fit into my beds. I made a layout of my garden. But another thing that I also did was I went on Canva and I made a collage of just different flowers that I really liked to see how they pair together. So I'm going to insert a collage now in the video, and I'm just going to show you that's kind of my mood board for the year. And I'm going to strictly just plant to those pictures so that I don't have too many flowers to pick from. I kind of have a bit of a template to go by for the coming summer. So the next seeds that I purchased were the Delft Blue Nigella. So this is something that I'm going to probably just be seeding out early spring into my perennial garden, and I'm just going to let it come up like that. It does need cold stratification. It does better that way. And I'm going to be adding that into my bouquets. Next, I have Zinderella Peach. So this is a new zinnia for me. It's beautiful. I thought it was so pretty. I like the blushy color of it. So I purchased some of those. I'm going big on zinnias this summer. I hope to grow a lot of them. People love zinnias. They're easy to grow, and they really make the bouquet, they fill the bouquet up quite quickly. So I went a little overboard on zinnias this year. Then I bought some New Look Dusty Miller. I used this last year. I started it around this time, so hopefully my seeds come soon. And I actually used it as a border in my perennial sunrise garden. And it was not only a beautiful contrast to the other foliage plants, but it worked as a cut flower. So I wasn't able to harvest it until later in the season, but it was really nice to have at the end of summer, beginning of fall. The next seeds that I purchased is another Sweet William Dianthus. This is the Amazon Neon Cherry, which I'm going to be using a lot of in the early growing season. So June and beginning of July, I hope to use these in my bouquets. Then I bought some Sweet Annie seeds. I've never grown Sweet Annie before, but I thought it would be a nice filler. I'm trying not to go overboard on fillers because I feel like you can use a lot of fillers. Like I have a bunch of land here, and there's a lot of fillers in nature that I can just pick out of the fields if I need to. So I want to keep my beds and my gardening space strictly for cut flowers that wouldn't grow natively. The next seeds that I purchased were some celosia. This is a new mix called the Shimmer Celosia Mix from Johnny's. And I liked all the salmony, yellowy, blushy colors in that mix. Then we have the Dalmatian Peach Foxglove, which I'm really hoping will come soon because now is the time for me to start it. This I will probably use in cut flower arranging, but I also would like to pair it with some Verbena bonariensis in my perennial bed. I saw a picture of that last year and I thought it looked so beautiful. The spiky interest with the wispiness of the verbena looked absolutely stunning. Next, I have Flamingo Feather Celosia. This is another celosia, which is more of like a paley pinky color. And then I have Johnny's Pastel Mix Status. So I love all the colors in the Status. I've grown Status a number of years now, and I liked the color variation in this mix. Then the new plant for me is the Lacy Lavender Blue Didiscus. I hope I'm saying that right. That is just going to be a trial plant. I will see how that goes, and I think it will provide a nice airy aspect to my bouquets. Then I have the Oklahoma Pink Zinnias. I grew Oklahoma Salmon last year, and I love the Oklahoma Zinnias. So that is another zinnia that I'm adding into my garden this season. Then we have another Scabiosa. This one is not a perennial. It is an annual Scabiosa, and it is called the Salmon Rose variety. And I love the color of it though, and I'm going to be adding that into my bouquets for sure. Next, I have some Queenie Lime Blush Zinnia seeds. I am planting a lot of these this summer. Then we have the Selway Purple Celosia. I actually have some of this saved myself, but just in case, because it's been a few years of me saving the seeds and I didn't know if it cross-pollinated. I just wanted to have a backup because I really like this one. It's a beautiful dark purpley color that you can add into your bouquets, almost more like a hot pink, I guess. So that is it for my Johnny's order. Now I'm going to be sharing some seeds that I have purchased on Etsy. It was a little bit of a scary thing for me to do the first time, but I purchased last year and I think the year before from Olive Seed Company on Etsy, and I was super, super impressed with the germination rate on her seeds. I have purchased from other more expensive, trendy seed suppliers in Canada and been very disappointed. So if you are in Canada and you would like to check out Olive Seed Company, she is on Etsy. I think she actually also has a website, which I think she would prefer that you purchase from that. But I highly recommend her seeds. So going through them quickly is the Ballerina Zinnia. It is beautiful zinnia. I've never grown this one. I liked the look of it, and I thought that would add some great interest. It's going along the same color palettes as what I have in my collage. Then the Aurora Zinnia, which was something I was thinking more for fall. It has a little bit more of the warm colors for the fall. And then the Summerberry Yarrow. So I did start some Summerberry Yarrow last year. The first time I tried to grow it without cold stratification, didn't work. Then I tried to grow it with cold stratification in the fridge indoors, still didn't work. And then I tried the winter sowing method, and it did work. So when my seeds arrive, I will be putting them in, I just have some leftover containers, and I will be putting them outside and using the winter sowing method for that. I find that most perennials actually grow really, really well with that method, and it's a lot easier. You don't have to worry about grow lights or anything like that. They get the cold stratification they need, and they are a little bit more protected in a greenhouse area, and they come up beautifully in the spring. Next, I have the QIS Pale Blue Status. I really like this color of the Status. I think it pairs beautifully with the dahlias. Then I have Snow Puff Cosmos. That is just kind of a little bit more of a ruffly cosmos, a little bit more interest than the regular cosmos. I'm excited to add that into my bouquets. Then we have some Pink Poker Status. This is Status. It looks quite a bit different from the regular Status, and I thought it would add a very unique element to my bouquets this summer. Then we have some more zinnias, some Salmon Oklahoma zinnias. So this I grew last year. I really, really was impressed. They are a little bit smaller than the Venery Giant in the size of the flower head, but I didn't seem to get any mildew at all last year later in the season, and they just kept plugging out blooms. So I would highly recommend the Oklahoma series. Then a new flower to me is the Giant Iceland Poppies. I wasn't able to find Iceland poppies last year. I'm trying to focus and see how far I can go with the cool hardy annuals. So I think I have 2 beds in my garden focused to cool hardy annuals. Those are annuals that you can put out earlier in the season than regular mid-season flowers. And these are one of them. They like the cold. So I will be inserting these into my bouquets in the early season, so June, July. Then I have king size Chinese asters. The asters are beautiful. Since I have purchased them, I have come to the conclusion that I'm actually probably not going to put them in my raised beds. Not because I don't think they're beautiful. I may still start them, but I'll probably put them in my perennial beds only because I'm not sure that they are going to be giving me as much of an output as the zinnias and the snapdragons and things like that would be. Then I have the Pompous Plume Celosia mix. So this is another celosia, which I am thinking more for my fall bouquets. And thinking of fall, continuing that theme, I have purchased some Autumn's Torch Amaranth and some Red Spike Amaranth. These will both add that really fall color to my bouquets. And then I have the Madame Butterfly Bronze Snapdragons. I have grown these a number of times and I love them. They're one of the earlier snapdragons to come out. I plant these out, like I said, with my Cool Hardy annuals the beginning of April, and I am getting blooms in June. And they like the cold weather, and they also produce quite well. By the time that they are done producing, that's usually when my Potomac, which is my main season snapdragon, takes over. Then I have the Seashell Straw Flower mix, just a nice mix of those blushy colors for the summer to add into bouquets. Another Cool Hardy seed that I purchased is the Chinese Forget-Me-Nots. Now this, I am hoping it will perennialize. We will see. If you don't have the Cool Flowers book by Lisa Mason Ziegler, I would highly recommend it. If you are interested at all into getting into cool flowers, definitely a book that would help you a lot. So I'm trying to see how far I can push the Cool Hardy thing, see how many of them I can push into perennial area, especially if they're in a microclimate. We will see. My next order is from Dizzy Bee's Urban Garden. This is a shop that I have never purchased from on Etsy. They did have good reviews, but they had some varieties that I was looking for that I had forgotten on my Johnny's order, and I really wanted to try. So the Silvery Rose is a very beautiful looking straw flower, and I'm excited to add that into my bouquets in the summer months. Then I purchased some cress. Cress is another filler. Like I said, I don't want to go overboard on the fillers because I want to really focus on using the main season flowers for production in my raised bed areas. But I do want to try the cress. I think it's so beautiful. I love the airy aspect, filler aspect that it adds to the bouquets. Then another filler is Green Mist Ami. Now this is, along the same family as the Queen Anne's lace. It is an annual, I do believe though, and it is green. So it's kind of got the greeny hue. I'm going to give a little spot to that. Probably not in my main area. I might just make a new no-dig area that I can just pop it in there and see how it goes. Then another feverfew that I'm adding to my feverfew area. Feverfew does perennialize here, and I'm hoping to have different varieties of feverfew in perennial area, the one that I have talked about that I'm hoping to set up. So this variety is called the Vegmo feverfew. So this is more of a traditional kind of feverfew look. I would very interested in having some more feverfew. I can never get enough of that in my bouquets. So I'm going to be adding that into my garden. And then I have my last zinnia variety, which is the Double Ruffled Cupcake Mix. As soon as I saw this zinnia, I was like, I got to get that one. It's going to look so beautiful in bouquets. And then lastly, I have some marigolds. So marigolds, I wanted something for the fall. I'm thinking fall in my head, and marigolds are pretty easy to count on for that. So I'm going to be growing the Orange African Giant marigolds. So that is it for the ones that I have here, but I am going to go over to my fridge because I have some more seeds in the fridge that I forgot about that have been cold stratifying. So you're just going to have to bear with me for a minute while I grab my seeds. So if you don't know what cold stratifying is, really it just means that you're giving your seeds some time in the fridge or in the cold to mimic what would be happening if they were growing outside. So the first seeds that I have are some more foxglove. This is Apricot Beauty from Stems Flower Farm. This was something that I was hoping to start last year, never did. Once again, I'm probably going to start it and then plant it out my perennial bed, not in my main season garden area. Then I have some Scabiosa, the QIS White. This is a perennial. It's white, and I think it's going to be a great staple for my cut flower bouquets this summer. Then we have my snapdragons. I cannot imagine making bouquets without snapdragons. So the first variety is the Potomac lavender. Potomac, for me, I find, I grew the chantilly last year and I was really disappointed. I'm not sure if it was just the specific seed that I bought, but I know that Potomac is sturdy, it withstands the heat, and it just keeps coming back all summer long. So I'm going back to the Potomac this year. The next variety of Potomac is Potomac Royal. I have successfully overwintered the Potomac Royal in my raised beds. I just have one plant, and it came back last year, and I harvested from it. It was only one plant, so I didn't get a lot of blooms out of it, so I want to get some more of these going. Then I have the Potomac White Improved Snapdragon. Then another feverfew that I'm adding, I should mention, I guess I didn't mention, all these seeds are from William Dam Seeds. So William Dam is local to us, and when I'm in the area, I like to pop in and I end up with seeds. So the next one is a feverfew. This is the QIS Tetra White Wonder. So it is kind of a little bit of a mix between the Rio and the traditional looking feverfew. So friends, that is it for my seed haul. It was a little excessive. I think after watching this video back, I will be a little bit shocked at how many seeds I have purchased and accumulated. So I hope that some of you have found this helpful. I would love to hear some of the things that you're growing, how you go about choosing the bouquets or the flowers that you hope to add into your bouquets. Like I said, the process that I'm using this year is basing it off of the collages that I made and then going from there and choosing which seeds that I want to add into my garden that way, rather than just anything that I think looks good, putting that in the garden and then being a little overwhelmed in the summer with the amount of varieties and seeds that I have grown. I do have a lot of varieties of seeds, but not a lot of species. So I focus a lot more on snapdragons and zinnias and celosia, and I have many different varieties of them, but I try to pare down what I have for options for my bouquet to within that category. So I have 4 celosias to pick from and 4 snapdragons to try and make my bouquet making a little bit easier. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video, friends, and that you'll consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.